So from distance wedge to finesse play, which is the green side chip shots that we want to cover today. So very important in finesse play is engaging the sole of the club. We want two things: loft to create height, and using the sole because the club doesn't travel as fast, and we want the best club head and turf interaction possible. So obviously, as we discussed in the past, there are different grip styles. So engaging the bounce is going to come in different ways from one player to the next. Someone who has a stronger grip style will benefit from an open face position at address and more of an open alignment to counteract the face that is open to the outside, to the left for left-handed golfers. Derek is on the opposite side of the spectrum with his on-top grip, weaker. So he tends to be a player that with a wedge swings a little steeper down to the ground. So he's going to adjust the way he delivers the head to his grip style. And the sequence in the swing for finesse play is going to be from the upper body down to the head with very little action at the bottom. The legs are only going to accompany the momentum. So Derek's going to demonstrate a finesse shot for us. Everything is compact. He's very close with both feet. He's favoring his lead side. He may look a little steeper with his shoulders than for distance wedge shots because he's going to counteract that with his delivery. All right, it's nice and smooth. So because he has less speed at the bottom, there is less spin created on the ball. And spin is measured in RPMs. And because it's rotating backwards at a slower rate, we want verticality. So loft does that. And because we want good club and turf interaction, we need the use of bounce. So whenever he's around the green, he's going to assess the situation first. He's going to pick the right wedge. Wedges range from 48 to 64 degrees, as we mentioned in the past. And he's going to use upper body action only. The image I like my students to leave with whenever we work on finesse play, and we're mostly feel people when it comes to adopting a certain technical style, especially when we play. We don't want to be stuck in thinking about position. So I like my students to feel as though they were standing on very thin ice with the narrow stance they can have. So everything from there is going to come from the upper body. And if ever you see the legs move, it's only because the club head weighs a certain amount. So Derek is going to hit a second shot for us. And engaging the bounce is also very forgiving. So on purpose, Derek is going to try to land the club head behind the ball and try to have him glide along the turf for as long as it can. All right, so what we heard here is that Derek landed the club head a little early behind the golf ball, but because he's engaged the bounce at the bottom, he's able to get some forgiveness and still hit a decent shot that had verticality and would stop fairly fast onto the green. So the next thing, once you have those components in place, it is important that you assess the situation properly before executing. So whenever the ball is buried a little more, you may throw a steepener in there. If you're on a surface that has grain that grows a certain way, you may feel more centered to accommodate the right way the club would interact. So assess the situation first and then put all the pieces that go along the finesse sequence swing together for performance. So that's one way to save a lot of strokes whenever you don't hit the shots onto the green every time.
Stick to your game.